Behind globalization lay the victory of protein. Among options for long voyages, salted pork won. High energy density and perfect physical properties. Not all salt was fit for curing ocean-going pork. The art of salt and time. Standardization of dry curing. An early quality control system was born. The barrel was the mobile storeroom and trade unit. Pigs were the biological pioneers of colonial expansion. The plantation complex. Symbiosis of sugar and meat and its cost. North American model. Low-cost free-range and ecological conflict. New Spain model. Intensive corn feeding and monoculture. Midstream of the chain. Processing and transshipment in port cities. Downstream, reprocessing and distribution networks in Europe. Barbados case study, pork, the invisible pillar of the sugar economy. Salt pork played multiple roles in the triangular trade. The pork trade stimulated the germination of marine insurance. 7 Years' War, Britain's logistical victory. Napoleonic Wars, the logistical behemoth of feeding 100,000 sailors. The rise of Liverpool, shaped by Atlantic trade. The Caribbean dilemma, exporting everything, unable to self-sustain. An early blueprint for industrial hollowing out. Food distribution became a micro-mechanism of social control. The essence of globalization. Logistics to meet basic material needs. The intertwinement of technology, economy, and ecology. The inequality and vulnerability inherent in globalization. What shaped our modern world were also the most basic survival needs. Viewing the birth of a global system through a piece of salted pork. Every transoceanic voyage was a victory of logistics. The Dutch East India Company's regulations told the truth. Pork's physical properties were key to curing success. Wet curing, standardized process suited for large-scale processing. Coopers, a key trade in port cities. Millions of free-range pigs reshaped American ecology. Ports became the nexus of the industrial chain, the distorted logic of the colonial economy's self-sustenance. Diversified agricultural structure brought greater resilience. Capital outflow, profits returned to the core, not invested in the periphery. The historical roots of dependency theory trace back here. Oppressed cultures created new fusion flavors. Uneven development was a core feature of early globalization. Specialization brings efficiency and fatal vulnerability. To view our fragile, complex world with humility and a comprehensive perspective. Morale relied not just on discipline, but on full stomachs. Salt pork provided relative nutritional balance. The pig's prolific nature decided its fate as a strategic commodity. Mercantilist laws deliberately molded colonial division of labor. Pork demand promoted the internationalization and control of the salt industry. Investment in backward industries wove a denser commercial web. Management experience in remote coordination was a template for modern corporations. Ports were hubs for the exchange of information, capital, and technology. Ecological cost was ignored in the pursuit of profit. Future food systems still rely on ancient wisdom and materials. A single barrel reflects the connections and costs of an entire world. Seemingly humble commodities were the invisible fuel of the system. Economic benefit versus ecological cost, a historic trade-off. The pork trade was a backbone connecting other global trades. Globalization's gifts and curses coexisted from the very beginning. Ancient wisdom withstands the test of modern science. The neglected dimensions of history often lie in the everyday. Feed converted into more than just meat. What crossed oceans was not just courage, but preserved meat. The fate of cities was changed by a single foodstuff. Time converted natural resources into a historic transfer of power. Understanding any global process requires this networked perspective. A single narrative cannot capture the full picture of globalization, the foundation obscured by spices. It was the invisible fuel for this system. The answer is the interaction of all these. The story of a piece of salt pork is far from over. For millennia, salt and meat were the invisible substrate of the global economy. It dissolves into invisibility, yet supports the visible world's operation. Another future, returning to diverse soil-centric practices. The core challenge, more mouths, fewer stable resources. Innovation will push the boundaries of where and how we grow food. The most powerful solutions may also be the most local and human scale. We stand on millennia of history. The next chapter is ours to write. We see our reflection in the abundance we created. But is it a true image? Like the dandelion, salt's strategy was to make itself indispensable. After all this complexity, it's still just food. And we all need it. From ancient sails to global trade, salt's story is our story. The foundation is laid.